tie into your passion and what's your passion, right? Because I'm sure at the root of your business idea or your plan, there was something that made you want to make that jump in the first place. And if you try to go back and tap into what that thing was, even if it was you not having that example, even if it was you not having that one person as representation, whatever it was, if you go, or I was broken, I don't want to be broke again, right? Little things like that. Go back to that root of that why and think about how that can propel the how and the what. But I promise you, in doing that, you're going to see an increase in engagement because people are more connected to you, the brand, and the idea. But also, secondly, that's going to drive more money. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
she's very encouraging, very inspiring, and she actually motivated me. She was authentic and very personable, and it really made me feel like I relate to her story. What I aspire to be? Just the best version of myself.
You are listening to Unleash the Podcast, revolutionizing the way women grow, work, live, and lead. Engaging interviews, insightful book reviews, and timeless gems to aid the modern woman in excelling personally and professionally. Hosted by the multi-passionate Tabitha D. James, Unleash the Podcast not only empowers listeners, but also equips them with applicable action-based resources for daily life. Hey friends, and welcome to this week's episode of Unleash the Podcast, where I have my buddy, my pal, one of my best friends and business besties, Tadian Page, talking about impact. Very similar to the last episode, if you caught that one, this is a replay from a Facebook Live. The Unleash live chats are going down weekly on Tuesday from 12 p.m. to 12:30 if you would like to catch them live. Otherwise, I do plan to keep bringing them on here to the podcast so that you can catch the gems. Grab your notebook, grab your water, grab your coffee, grab yourself, because we are about to journey together on this chit chat, talk, replay thing, talking impact, influence, income, passion, the magic. Okay, so without further ado,
and jump straight into questions. Welcome to everybody joining us on Facebook Live. Super excited to have you here, to be in this space, and for me to get all up in Tadian's impact business. So let's get straight into it, Tay. Who are you? What you do? What does impact mean? Let us know.
All the stuff. So cool. So I'm going to jump in. So first, let me say thank you, Tabitha, for doing the segment and putting this on for us during our lunch hours so we can be motivated, encouraged, and enlightened. So thank you for all you do for our world. So personal plug there. But who I am, I would say quickly in 5 words that I am ambitious, empathetic, loving, a servant, and creative. Beyond that, I am someone who just genuinely loves to make the world a better place every single day. But more formally, I work in higher education. So I do work at Winthrop University, doing public outreach and community coordination, as well as serving as the assistant for student leadership development. But beyond that, I have my own company as well called Ascend Solutions, which is where we produce change by providing hope and solutions. So within that, we focus on working with individuals, businesses to help them think about their impact and how can I take my business, my plan, my idea, whatever it is, to the next level. So we offer them that service through creative branding and marketing strategies, leadership and team development, and then also helping them with their community engagement and social impact initiatives as well. So that's what the company does. But in addition to that, I'm an author. I'm very passionate about working with Black boys. All things Black boys I'm with. So I'm very passionate in that area. In addition to the book, I have a coloring book, and then I also have some clothing products and apparel needs as well. And I'll talk about that throughout the segment. But Miss Tabitha here has the Hope Dealer t-shirt, and I'm also rocking the new Hope Dealer hat, which I'll definitely plug at a later point as well. But to answer your question about impact. So when I think of impact, it's essentially in short form, it means influence, right? So being able to have a strong effect or create some sense of strong change essentially is what impact is all about. So your ability to influence, to guide, to steer towards a particular end goal or end result that people are looking for, even if people is just you. But essentially that's what impact is about. So your ability to influence and guide towards some end goal or result in short form. What would you say?
Even if impact is just you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa. What would I say? This is not my interview. What would I say though? I ditto. But if impact begins and ends with you making sure that you're doing what is most natural, right? We all have our impact space, our impact duty, our impact, instead of looking at what Tadian's doing, I got to do what's natural to Tabitha. And oftentimes there's a lot of overlap. But even when there isn't, I don't need to be intimidated.
Absolutely.
By, anyone, especially people that you look up to. A lot of times we want to tailor our impact to mirror people that we model, and it doesn't have to look like that. You only need to mirror you. So,
all the things already.
All the things. Here we go. We getting started. Why we doing it?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Impact, dive deeper into how, I guess, a person can think deeper about what is my impact? How does that play a role in my life? What does that look like? How do you maybe even talk people through stuff like that?
Absolutely. So a key thing and a great starting point is to begin to think about or rearranging your statements to be more we than I statements, right? That's a good start because again, when you remove I out the way and think about we, it already puts the image or the telescope on the bigger picture or bigger focus here, right? Which is not just you alone. So you may be the vessel. So I have to do the work, but we is what it's for, right? So a great starting point is to move I and think about we. And what is that? What is this, right? What is that thing that you care about or that you're hoping to make better? And when I talk about that, that also means tying into something that's bigger than just yourself, right? Tying into something that's bigger than just yourself. And within my work within Ascend Solutions, I love working with companies or people to help them think about that. One, a lot of people already have it already within them, but a lot of people don't think to intersect their passions and their causes with their business or what it is they're trying to do to implement it to the world, right? So just really think about how to intersect the two of things that are already within them. So I'm not coming in here to tell you what your passion is or what your form of service should be or impact should be, but how can you make the two align in a world where it can? So those are things that I focus on, which is more so getting into another topic of more so social entrepreneurship is more so my focus and what I hone in on. So of course, the different forms of entrepreneurship, but social entrepreneurship is essentially this spectrum of everything from mission-driven type business to for-profit, right? And it can be a spectrum there. I do agree with that. A lot of people have critiques against social entrepreneurship that you shouldn't bring the business world into service. I don't know. There's all these different thoughts. Kind of like the same argument with don't bring business into the church type deal. Yeah. But again, it only allows us to improve our process,
to do more,
to have our strategy, and to increase our intended impact. Right. Yep. So again, it's not a hard conversation, but people just have to be exposed to that thought process. And that's what I try to do. So to your point, starting point, one, change from I to we, and two, think about how is this vision, this dream, this plan bigger than just Tadian? How is it bigger than just me putting money in my account, but essentially something that makes the world a better place from it existing, right? And those are the conversations I help people think through and think about to not only help them create that change, but also I can promise you with working with me, we can think of some ways that's actually going to help propel your business to the next level as well, right?
We're going up a notch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And personal business plug, we are moving to a model of business where people want to know the people behind the business. Right. Yes. And even if that doesn't mean you putting your face out there, they want to know what you care about as a business. Right. Perfect example, Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I don't even eat their ice cream like that. But I want to go because of the statements they've been making in regards to eradicating systematic racism and oppression in our country. Right. Yep. So, again, what are the things that you care about? And how can you align that with your business to create more change, but to also drive more revenue and customers?
Say the last part. More revenue and
customers, clients, whatever that is for your particular business model, it can drive that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Because oftentimes I think we take the human out of it because we're so used to big brands. But I don't know if you've ever had to tell people this sometime. I'm like, get out of your head, because how do you start $1 million business? You start a small one, right? You get started. And I guarantee 100 years ago or however long ago, Coca-Cola came about, and I don't know their stance on the current climate, so don't drag me in the comments, y'all. I'm just using them as a notable example that whenever they got started, you saw the CEO out there passing out Coca-Cola bottles. You know, you saw them with a Coke t-shirt. Like, you have to be able to get some footing and foundation. And to your point, people love to see who's behind the brand.
Absolutely.
And what impact said person is making in the world. And you as said person cannot be wavered by other people's opinions, because I beg to question, and I am going to question, if there have been any head nods, head turns, because you openly make it known that you advocate for Black males. You have a whole book with the Black boy in the title. That's come on. Come on. So I think I'm sure I may be making an assumption. You may have not seen it, but I'm willing to bet a few dollars in my account that has caused people to say they don't want to deal with you. And you as the owner, you got to be okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the key, being okay with that, right? Because when you're okay, that means that I'm truly accepting my purpose and what I'm called to do. And that's well beyond my purpose. Fulfilling my purpose goes well beyond just me keeping one client or one customer, right? There's a bigger focus there. So one, I think when we talk about impact, you have to believe that thing so much that no one can sway you from that. And that doesn't mean you're confident and know all the steps to make it happen. But as far as it being mine, it's something that God, or even if you're not spiritual, the earth, whatever, even if it's just a download in your spirit, if it's something that you feel is needed to implement into the world to make the world a better place, it needs to be fulfilled, right? And that doesn't mean that everybody has to love that or be okay with that. One of the main critiques, I don't get a lot of hate around the book, but I do get this critique all the time around, or perspective or thought, whatever we want to call it. Well, why just Black boys? Again, this is what I have been led or called to do. And plus, I can give you a full list of resources that speak to all males, right?
Yeah.
I can literally give you that.
Yeah.
But once again, this is my piece of the pot, or my piece of impact that I've been called to do. So I'm not going to get mad at not getting one book sale when I already have thousands over here who need it. One, right? Who need it. But even beyond that, two, who may just be interested. And that's always enough when we're talking about impact. Who need it and who's interested in being a part of that movement as well. Yeah, that was kind of good.
Okay, I'm froze. Like, I'm stuck. It's no tech issues. I'm stuck. Okay. Wow. Drop mic there. But I have more questions. So what, who, how, if anything, if you all have done any reading up on Tay, he, has been in this service game, I think, since birth. I think he helped the doctor at the hospital. If you want to be real transparent, I really think he helped with the delivery. But, all kicks and giggles, but saying, you've been serving for a minute. And last night I learned that another thing we have in common, CDs, t-shirts, whatever, even as kids, entrepreneurship and being for the good of people in entrepreneurship. Because I sold a CD, I had to be up on music, right? I had to know that you needed a CD and you didn't have a way to get one. So I'm going to provide that for you, and then I'm going to have extra money.
Absolutely.
In middle school or elementary school. And so I say all those to set up the question of, even though you was born into this, what, who, how were you influenced to be an impact-driven leader?
Absolutely. Really good question. And I think I have to be straight up and say it literally starts with my grandparents and my parents. I grew up in a very service-oriented family, and actually thinking about my parents have always been entrepreneurs, and I've always just said entrepreneurs, but my parents have always been social entrepreneurs. So not only were they focused on making money, but it was about how can I make money while also making the world a better place. And I've seen that my whole life, so from my grandparents owning childcare facilities to my parents owning after school programs, right? Serving 300 kids a day and being in these environments where I'm not only coming home to my mom's kitchen and she helping me with my homework, but seeing her help kids all around this entire center with their homework, make sure they have a snack, making sure they have a place to go where their mom is working first, second, or third shift, right? Helping them, providing opportunities within equity, right? So if we're really talking about the work, literally my parents, shout out, you can't afford childcare. Sure, what can you do? Right? Can you provide the snacks this week? Can you buy some extra juice this week? Right? How can I help you while you also help us do the work that's needed in our community? So a lot of my approach, I think about people first. I'm always people driven. And I think that's what kind of served as my blueprint, my parents and grandparents doing that along the way. But also even beyond having someone in home who was around entrepreneurship, beyond that piece of business, just being empathetic and seeking to understand people from all walks of life, I think has been extremely important to me focusing and honing in on impact. So, me going to college, getting away from my small town, I don't say that with a negative connotation, but literally going to a place or a school that has the same amount of people as my town, right? So you get to see the entire world. So taking in those experiences to grow, to feel, to hear what other people feel or think, even if I don't agree, and taking all that in to make more well-rounded decisions to then also produce more work and change. Yeah.
Wow. That's deep. Whoa. I gotta unpack some of that too of being an example, right? So I'm sure there are some parents join here, some people who aspire to be parents or have youth of some sort that may look up to them or see them in some light. And I think a big piece of impact-driven leadership ain't about you, y'all. Get these Ebonics for lunch today. I'm having pineapples and water, but get these Ebonics of it ain't about you. And
Absolutely.
When you put people first, you will see the fruits of your labor in so many ways. In the eyes that are watching you, right? In the account going up, and in you ultimately being happy. So I'm about to drive into some money questions because, we're here. Impact, influence, income, right? But I want to really, really hear how you can say, impact has influenced change in my life, but it has also, changed the way that I work, the way that I show up in the world. I'm sure you're even outside of your business, your education-based job, I'm willing to bet impact had a small thing to do with how you even got there.
Absolutely. So I love that you brought that up, and I'm going to make it about business as well, because essentially when you think about your impact, going back to it about influence, passion, your impact, whatever that is that you feel for you, it essentially creates value proposition for you. So it essentially sets you apart, right? So now, not only am I the one now who has a clothing line, right? Sure, there's a million of those, but I have a clothing line that focuses on giving money back every time we make money, right? That's something everyone's not doing. So not saying you have to take that approach if you haven't been called to do that, but maybe within your t-shirt line, maybe you have this passion for, working with homeless. Maybe you give away a free t-shirt every time somebody buys one. I don't know, right? But what I have found was that people tie into a message. People like a message, and you can fulfill that message when it's real. So let's be real. Let's talk about that, because there are a lot of businesses now putting out statements about Black Lives Matter, about all of these things. We need to see that in the practices and within the work. So I had to release that first. But back to the point, right? If you have a message that people can tie, people like a message. People want to tie into something that feels. People want to feel. So with that, if you learn to hone in on that as a business owner, plus you follow through on that, I promise you will see an increase in revenue by an increase in engagement and client base. I'm telling you, people want to connect with you more socially because they want to know more about what you do, right? I don't have to follow Chipotle, even though it's my favorite place to go to. I already know what they do, right? I know the food, but they have this big campaign around, I don't know, we feed people every weekend in our communities around the nation. I don't know, that gives me a reason to follow them, right? But that also makes me want to go eat it more, because now I'm like, not only am I getting good food, but I'm also making the world a better place. So as the business owners, or the people who may be thinking about business on this call right now, or this live session, tie into your passion and what's your passion, right? Because I'm sure at the root of your business idea or your plan, there was something that made you want to make that jump in the first place. And if you try to go back and tap into what that thing was, even if it was you not having that example, even if it was you not having that one person as representation, whatever it was, if you go, or I was broken, I don't want to be broke again, right? Little things like that. Go back to that root of that why and think about how that propelled the how and the what. But I promise you, in doing that, you're going to see an increase in engagement because people are more connected to you, the brand, and the idea. But also, secondly, that's going to drive more money. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I've seen it time and time before. Even with my personal business, it happens all the time. And a lot of my business drives from people I do not know.
Yep.
Right. So it's cool to think that, my friends and family are going to buy every single product I put out. But if I literally go through all of my sales for a full year, I can promise you over 50% of those sales are from people I never met a day in my life. But what they connected to was not me, but that message. Right. So if you can tap into that, that's really important. And for people who are not into full-time entrepreneurship, maybe you don't have a business, still finding ways to tap into your passion and what you're interested in. Hopefully that's already your job is my prayer for you. But if it's not, how can you begin to make the two align a little bit better? Right. So those are things I think about.
Ooh.
Did I answer the question?
Yeah. Of course it did. It did. And it also played level ground to even bump deeper into saying it's not about who knows you most of the time. Because at the end of the day, who knows you, it's good for them to know what you know, right? But oftentimes they can't see beyond what they know you as. So for several people, we'll just be the kid from Dillon and the kid from Lakeview, right? They won't ever be able to attach the greatness that, God, the universe, the network, the connections, the schooling has been able to put in our lap, right? For some people, not all, but some. For our friends, we are their friends. We're great. All our friends are great. Shameless plug. But surround yourself with great people. And so saying that all of us are great, we can't always support every single thing. We can't always be at every event. We can't buy everything. We can't share everything, but we know we're all great. We also have to be firm in my impact has to speak beyond my inner circle. My impact has to speak to people who also are impacted by what I'm creating impact for and about.
Yes.
Right? Like, we both have to connect more with people who, in a social sense of people who are worried about brown girls and brown boys. So that's not always each other. That's not always the same people. We do share ideas, mechanisms, all kinds of things. But if your impact is different than Sam's, then maybe you can take some nuggets, but you have to be willing to connect beyond your comfort zone.
Yeah. That's good.
And what it to those people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's another business term, right? It puts you into your target audience. Because we love to assume that our family or our friends are going to be a part of that automatic target audience. It's not always the case, right? And honestly speaking, it's not fair to assume they will. So it helps you get over some grief or some hate that you don't have to expect or experience if you just go in and think like, I don't have to expect them. You have to win them over too. That's their dollars, right?
Yeah.
So again, also just because it's their dollars don't mean they want it. And that's totally okay, but there are plenty of people who do. So let's focus on that, right? Even changing your energy or focus. I tell people, let's not focus on who won't buy it. Let's put all our energy into focusing on who might want it, right? Yep. And those are your target audiences.
All of our energy.
Absolutely. All your energy there.
All of our energy.
Because those are the people who are already interested in and another term from a marketing referral standpoint, your centers of influence, right? Ooh. Those groups who speak to that work for you, right? So it's not only about me having my personal references, back to your point, not only my Google Doc of like all the people I can contact when I need something, but who they also can contact when I need something. right? Every time they share, every time they make a post, every time they comment, every time they send that link to someone else, those people are your centers of influence. And oftentimes we don't think about those people because they may show up in different ways. So it may be the friend who really support every single thing you do, but may not have the money to buy it, right? But that friend is share galore.
Yeah.
Be more intentional with that friend about the sharing. Hey, friend, can you start posting this caption or this link? Different things like that, right? Allow people to show up and helping you create that impact in the way that they can, while also helping them maximize the way they can show up. Because if we don't have full teams yet, right? And I'm sure many of us on the call, we don't have a person for marketing, a person for this, at least not me. So I'm pretty much a one-man show plus my great intern right now. But with that, think about the people who already help you do the work because they either believe in you or the work that you're doing, and think about how can I stretch that even more to help get this end result at an even higher or maximized rate.
Right. And out of respect to time, Tay, I'm sure you got something right after this, so I'm only going to keep you a few minutes over if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Because I want you to dive into appreciating your people for what they do for you, because like you said, teams of 1.5, right? And sometimes maybe 2 on a strong day. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to make all these things function like a well-oiled machine, but it don't always go like that. And so the person, paying attention to those people who share, paying attention to those people who slide in your DMs and say, good job. Pay attention to those people who, they may be the person who every time you say give $5, they give. Absolutely. Take care of those people, because let's just think about it like this. Sometimes folks will get on the phone with me, and you might get this too, of like, I don't have as many followers as you, or I don't have this big audience. I'm like, if you got 50 followers, right? Imagine those 50 people being in one room, cheering for your name, your brand, your whatever, right? 50 of them. And I'm thinking about the room I'm in right now, and it's just like, shoot, right? It doesn't matter the size, it's the impact. It's what are you really doing? Like, we're both from very teeny tiny places. Once we left, the school was larger than the town. Like, my college was literally probably about the size of Dillon County. And my graduate school was definitely the size of Dillon and Marion County, right? And the impact the way I had to learn to translate impact, because what worked at a high school with one hallway looked different on a campus with multiple buildings. But the principle of impact did not change because I'm dedicated to the mission, right?
Yes.
And if you're in business, right, even if you're in nonprofit, because nonprofit needs money to run. So even if you're not making it, you still need money to run. Business, nonprofit, your own household and your job. We all know you need money, right? Like, we all know that whatever you're selling is for revenue. That's a given. You don't have to tell us that. If you're in business, we hope you're going to make money. But what's your why? Right. What's the deeper meaning, and how much are you willing to dedicate to your personal growth? Because personal growth is required for business growth.
Yeah.
Katie has a bookshelf back there.
So I like to do videos here just in case I need to grab a book or reference a book. But I'm giving you a prime example. It may be a little inappropriate, but not that inappropriate. So there's this candle company that my friend saw circulating on IG, right? Great candle, by the way. But the name of the candle is Your Morning Wood. Morning Wood. So I was like, oh, okay. A little out there, right? And then all of the names of the different scents have a different kind of like sexual name of sort. Not too much out there, right? Because it's in your living room probably. But it's still a play on words. But with that, I went to the website. The marketing was cool. It was really good. Got into the story, right? The guy was laid off recently. And he was sitting at home thinking about what are the things that I already love doing. And he was like, I love candles. So I wanted to start making candles and making candles available. But then also, not only did he give me that story, but he gave me a shopping experience. So the way he listed each candle name was an entire, I literally wanted all 3 candles just because of the experience I had while there. So make it full circle to those who may be on the line and us as well. Tell that story. People want to connect to your story, right? And then also make the experience of being or doing business with you pleasurable.
Yeah.
Make it pleasurable, right? How you thank people, right? Because essentially, like you said, everybody already know you want to make money. You don't have to say that. But what's going to give me that experience to make me feel like I'm grateful for giving you that money? And that gratefulness is what makes me either come back or tell someone else about it. So that's what you want to focus on. So that's showing up, thanking people, liking people comments, and replying back to people. People don't owe you that like. Like, we like to think it because our picture is bomb that we're owed that like. People don't necessarily owe you that, right? If you're not an influencer, this conversation is not really important. But if you're into that, where numbers or engagement matters, those people showed up for you in a way that's going to help your business. So say thank you by at least liking their comment, right? And again, that'll convert to people going into the DM, and those DMs will turn into sales, right? So think about that. But it all goes back to just caring about the person and how that drives impact and income for you as well.
Drops mic. Drops mic. And for those of you who, maybe you do some business to business selling, right? But you may be still considered a small business. You still need to tell your story. You just might need to make it sound differently for the audience. But businesses right now are needing to work with small businesses for their tax purposes, for them to, look good purposes. And in no way, shape, or form, don't think that I'm saying this insensitively, but I'm a business person at heart. So if Black Lives Matter gets me in a door that it didn't get me in 2 weeks ago, I'm probably going to ride that wave of affirmative action. But when I get in there, I'm telling the story because I'm going to educate somebody on the reverse end of that. So people may be looking to work with small Black businesses right now, and I'm readily available, but I'm also going to provide an impactful story as to why this small Black business even exists.
Absolutely. And why my presence matters, right? And why my presence demands respect, because I'm offering you great quality product and service. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Quality, right? Income, influence, impact. You got 3 eyes. So Tanya, I need you to drive us home. I need you to take us home with a message, a word, some final thoughts, because we're at 7 minutes over. So we not gonna let 12:40 get too close up on us. So if you will drive us home with something, and if a question pops up in between that, then we'll go there. But drive us home.
Absolutely. So one, again, thank you for this opportunity and what you're doing by offering these conversations. One, I think that we don't spend enough time doing these things to grow and learn and connect from each other. And we were already horrible at it physically, right? We were all already just so busy. We didn't have these moments to spend 30 minutes on a Facebook Live session to connect with other business owners in the comment sections and all these different moments, right? But now we have these moments in these virtual spaces. So thank you for being a leader in that way and providing the platform so we can all grow and learn together first. But to your point, for those who may be on the line, and I'm even speaking to myself and Tabitha as well, regardless of where you are in this process today and where you want to be, we can figure out everything in the middle. Everything you need is already within you. Every single thing you already need is already within you. And that may not mean you know it all, but you have a connection or a resource that can get you there, right? So everything you need is already in you. So 1, I believe in you. 2, do the research to make it happen. But 3, always focus on how does this make, after this is said and done, right? How does this make the world better in some way, shape, or form? And that doesn't have to change your business model or make it something much larger or way smaller than what you're already thinking. But think about how can that tap into what you're already interested in and how you want to help make the world a better place. And I can promise you 2 things. 1, that's going to bring in, like I said, the more money, the more engagement, all of that. 2, the world's going to be a better place from it as well. But 3, I'm at a 3rd one. How cool would it be to know that you moved in your purpose? How cool would that be? Right. And we don't take the conviction of that enough sometimes, because sometimes it is scary sometimes to move or jump. It is scary sometimes to try to go to the next dimension or to step out on yourself or believe what you already know God told you is even real, all of that, right? But think about what could be on the other side of that if you actually did it, not only for the world, but for yourself, financially, mentally, like what that could do for your personal life and propelling it to the next level. So I don't want to make it seem like that's all revenue based for you, but whatever that end result is, that thing you think about or you dream about or would hope to inspire to or aspire to, it's possible. And everything you need in the middle to figure out is there. If I can help you figure it out, I'm definitely open to doing that. I do offer think tank sessions, which are essentially 1 hour consultations. I don't like the term consultation. It's kind of like this, you here, I'm here type thing. No, I like to come together with people. Let's talk, brainstorm, brain dump, flush out, think through, and leave this call with some solutions and strategies to help take you to the next dimension or level. So whether that's you as an individual or whether that's you as a business or entity, I'm definitely interested in helping you. But in the meantime, even beyond that, you can definitely DM me, comment, or anything like that. I'm always open to connecting. I can put my website and all of that good stuff in the box here, but my website is TadyandPage. I already love you. You already did that. And then last thing I wanted to plug. So as I talked about, I'm very, very, very much so into social entrepreneurship and giving back. One of the main things that I'm doing right now within my clothing line of Hope Dealer, or the Hope Dealer movement, is selling some of these pre-launch Hope Dealer hats available here. Our full launch for our website launches on July 1. But in spite of everything going on, or in light of everything going on, we wanted to provide 55 of these hats on our website. So you can check on my website and buy one of these for $15. But what your $15 does, it goes towards 100% proceeds towards helping eradicate systemic racism in our country by supporting organizations, initiatives, people who are already on the ground doing the work. So I'm taking your $15, but you also get a cool hat. But from that, I'm providing many grants to people to help them do the work to help make our world a better place. So again, that's TadyandPage.com. I would definitely love your support. I only have a few left, so if you want to hop on that, you can. But anything you can do within your personal life or business or everything in between to help make the world a better place and create impact, I encourage you to make that happen.
Tay, listen. I'm going to use your words that you used on me. You were so modest. You were so humble in, describing yourselves and the things that you do. And y'all, I was already, for those on Facebook, I plugged all the links to get with Tay, book a consultation, products, even if you or someone you know is in an organization that is on the ground. I dropped the link also for applying for a mini grant. At this point, what's your Cash App if we just want to seed?
Listen, we can gladly put that there as well. And I'm going to type it for you.
So I really appreciate you, your time, your energy, your insight. I think I've seen in the comments, Tadian is one of the best guys I know. Carmen says confirmation. So something you said just sparked. Shanita said, yes, tell your story and reply to people. Y'all, it's real. I think that you can't have Tadian because he's mine, but find you some friends that are impactful in their lane, because it will influence you to do the same. So if you take nothing else from this, you may be joining this just because you saw us together, right? And you're not in business, you're killing it in your 9 to 5, or you're in transition from school to work or whatever, and that's not your lane. I want us to just nod our heads and say, be around great people. And it will help you level up your life, level up your decision-making skills, level up the imposter syndrome that sometimes tries to creep in. It'll help all of that. So get you some folks that can be your folks and are also going to hold you accountable for everything. Tell Tadian that Morris said hello. Morris said hello, Tadian.
What's up, Morris?
Morris said hello.
So for tuning in, man.
So yes, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for tuning in. For those of you who shared, thank you for that. We definitely appreciate it. Both of us do. I will be here with you next Tuesday with Dee Dee of the Girl Chat Empowerment Group. She is going to talk to us about building a group or a community online by faith, because her group is like 10K plus. And she's just providing some awesome resources for women who need that. So I'm excited to dive into conversation around that. You guys get your Hope Dealer apparel. Okay. The hats, there's only 55 of them and they've been selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
So, so don't miss out, or you'll have to catch the train the next time in July. So don't miss out on that. Thank you so much, Tadian. I appreciate you.
So, y'all, I was gonna love like that. But seriously, I told y'all it was going to be good. Rate, review, share the podcast, and until next time, catch you.
Very encouraging, very inspiring, and she actually motivated